Hello, it's Denise, and I'm back for day four of Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot 2019. I forgot what I was doing for a second. All right, so today is my top five tarot books for 2018, and this one was hard for me because I purchased a lot of books and I did not read through a lot of the books that I purchased. I've been going back through some of my older books and enjoying those, and so I still have a lot of newer books, but since I haven't really read through them all, it was hard for me to kind of pick. So of the ones that I bought in 2018, these are my top five. And my very favorite one was a surprise to me actually was Modern Tarot by Michelle T. It's surprising because like I bought some like more like in-depth like study books and I'm going to learn something and I'm going to really get in deep with the tarot and that's great, but what I actually really appreciated about this book was it's not just another introduction to tarot book. It says, modern tarot connecting with your higher self through the wisdom of the cards. And what I found out was Michelle T was actually did tarot readings like she's a famous author, and it says, before that, she was doing tarot readings in San Francisco to support herself. So I thought that was interesting because it's always interesting to hear about tarot from someone that's not just studied it and taught about it, but that's actually like, that's what they did, to support themselves. Like, so they have a lot of, street smarts type of tarot experience. And so I thought it'd be just like interesting to read her ideas. But what I really really love about this book is that for every card, it has a little illustration, but it has a bit of information. Sometimes it has kind of like a personal story, and those are my favorite ones. Like I like the cards that have kind of a personal story of hers attached to them because it kind of helps to illustrate the meaning of that card. And she kind of has some different takes on a few of the cards than, new ways of for me to think about things, which I enjoy. But then it also has at the end, so this one was the Three of Pentacles, for example. It has be the Three of Pentacles, and it has several different like spell type things that you can do to embrace that energy. For example, just one of them is to call your dream job to you. Mix benzoin, frankincense, copal, and dragon's blood resins to create an incense. Light a small charcoal and sprinkle the incense onto it, saying, I have the power, so mote it be. Bring my dream job here to me, and repeat nightly until your job is secured. So it's kind of like a spell book with tarot, which is really interesting. And although that one has a bunch of resins, a lot of her spells that are in here are very like use stuff that's very accessible, like a bunch of mint or fresh thyme or something that you could get locally, like at your grocery store or something like that. Like it's very practical, very doable. And she even says in the beginning that if you don't have everything, just do the best you can because it's all about intent. So I was just like, it's just so practical and down to earth, and like the meanings are just so relatable. And I think, and it was so easy to read too. And I go back through, and sometimes, I was like, I'm like, contemplating like a card that's been coming up for me. And no matter what deck it is, a lot of times I'll come to this book and I'll just read that card and kind of just get that extra bit of insight. And so it's been a really good book, and I really like it. And I like how she kind of is like a little, it's like a little bit feminist, a little bit female oriented, like, and I like that. I just really like that outlook. So I'm really happy with this book, Modern Tarot. And so my next book, that this is not new. This one's been out for a long time. This is the Tarot Playbook by Linda Cowles. 78 Novel Ways to Connect with Your Cards. This is a shipper publication. And this came out in 2012. So it's been out for quite a while. But I just found out about it this year. I don't know, like sometimes things just completely, like, it's like things might have been around, but it just didn't catch my attention until the exact time that it was ready to come into my life, you know? So this, I just found out about this year, the Tarot Playbook, and I purchased it on Amazon, and not knowing exactly, like, oh, I think I hear my kids, so I'll try to finish this up. So just kind of trying to figure out, like, not knowing what it was, but kind of just interested in connecting with my cards in a deeper way, because that's one of my goals in the new year, but it actually has been something on my mind for the last few months. And so this is really interesting because it has like different like games to play, or ways to practice with your cards. Like, for example, I just did this exercise, 20 questions, which is, you know, the Magician. So it's based on the energy of the Magician card, but, and it asks 20 questions. Like, so you put your deck away and then you answer these questions, and then you go back through your deck and check the answers. For example, in your deck that you're using, is the High Priestess holding a book? If so, is it open or closed? And so I've been, excuse me, working with the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. And so while sometimes, and sorry, I have so many thoughts, I'm like, all over the place. So for example, when I think of the High Priestess, I think of my like go-to deck, which is the Robin Wood deck, and I think about that imagery. So this is kind of forcing me to think, no, I'm not thinking about, like, you know, Rider-Waite-Smith, like typical imagery. I'm not thinking about Robin Wood. I'm thinking about the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. What does a High Priestess card look like? What is she doing in that card? You know, and so it kind of put me in a whole nother, like, it's training my mind to think about those cards, you know, and to bring those images up and to really connect with them. And so this has just been really fun to kind of, you know, you can flip through. I'm just using this like when I get a deck that I want to connect with, and then I'm working through the exercises with one particular deck, and then I hope to go back through, you know, and to keep working with them in the future with more decks. So this has just been a really fun, it's a really fun book, like, just, you know, fun to work with. So that one, this one by Sasha Graham. So this is not a new book either. This is Tarot Diva by Sasha Graham. And I wasn't sure what to expect with this one either, but I'm a huge Sasha Graham fan. I just got her Haunted House Tarot, excuse me, this year. This is a 2011 book by Llewellyn, and but I just purchased it this year on Amazon, and this is such a fun book too. You know, reading through it is interesting, but there's definitely like a lot of exercises to do. She has a lot of recommendations. This is kind of geared towards someone that might just be starting out with tarot, but what I really like about this is that it has like fun little activities. It also has like recipes, and like this, are you a Hierophant? It says the Hierophant's kitchen. The cutting board is the heart of your kitchen, and the Hierophant's cooking style. You are a strict disciple of Julia Child and James Beard. So it just, you know, and it goes in, it's a little bit more detailed than that, but then it has a recipe, the Hierophant's Parmesan wafers. So I was like, that is so fun, and it's a totally different way of thinking about tarot, and that's what I love. Like, I don't love doing the same things over and over. I like different ways of thinking about things. So that's been really fun, and I'm still reading through that. I'm still working through that, but it's just been a really fun book. A book that I have not read yet, but I've actually used because it has a lot of like resource and references to go through, is Tarot Correspondences, which is by T. Susan Chang, and I believe it did just come out this year. Yes. 2018. And so what I love about this one is that even though I've read like the first little bit of it, but it has like a lot of charts, a lot of, it's just like a good go-to, like if you want to look up like different correspondences, like astrological, you know, geometry. It has even has, let's see, physical correspondences, mythical correspondences, natural correspondences. Like you can really just say, I want to know more about such and such, and like go through here and get like, well, one of my again, I have so many things I want to say and I'm trying to be quick, but it has a whole thing about using the Kabbalistic correspondences, climbing the tree of unknowable fruit. And I just love that. And it even had some pronunciations for things that I have had a hard time with. Yeah, here we go. For the Sephiroth, some words like you see just written down, and if you don't hear them, you don't know how to pronounce them. But being as one of my goals is I want to be able to discuss certain things with people, like I'd like to know how to pronounce them. And this had a pronunciation guide on that, and I thought that was really helpful. And it's just a gorgeous book, and it's like, hefty. It's got a lot of stuff in here, which I like. So I'm super excited to have this, because this is going to be like something that I actually use. It's not like a book that you read once and then like you're done, or you work through and then maybe you might come back and work through again. Like this is something that's like I'm going to be using frequently as I study. No matter what I'm studying, what aspect of the tarot I'm studying, I'll probably be able to use that book for reference. So that's just a good one to have in my collection. And then the last one, book 5, is The Naked Tarot by Janet Boyer, I want to say. Sassy stripped down advice. And this one, I'm still reading through, but what I really like about this is the depth of information she has about the court cards, which is really interesting. And then she also has in here, for each card, it has like different sections. So for example, the 7 of Wands, it has career, romance, parenting, and spirituality. It also has recommended resources, a layout, it's just really in depth of the information it has. But my favorite thing is the, and some of them have more. I was going to say some of them have like a quote and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so I just saw part of it. There's way more information than that. It's got keywords and quotes and all that stuff. But my favorite part about this book is the parenting section for each of the cards. As a parent, and that is a huge part of my life. That's basically my full-time job, is a full-time parent. And so where career advice, is nice for people that maybe work outside the home, I find that it doesn't work as well for parenting advice. And so over the years, I've come up with like my own parenting spreads and things like that. But I love the fact that this has like actual like parenting meanings for each of the cards. And I read in the beginning of the book that she homeschooled her kids, and right now, at the moment, who knows for how long, but right now I'm homeschooling as well. So I just feel like that's, just for me is a really valuable part of this book. But there's so much for, other people, but like it has crystals and stones and aromatherapy and flower essences for like all the cards and animal symbols. There's just so much information in this book. I mean, it's not like a tall, like heavy book, but it's like thick and it's like full of information. And so this has been, I've been, picking and choosing and going through the meanings, but I haven't actually sat down and read the whole thing through, which I would like to do, because I feel like it would open up some new, avenues of thinking for me. I know she did the coffee tarot, I want to say. and the Snowland deck. I don't want to, I hope I didn't get that wrong, but I could just find out where it's written. My goodness. All right. Well, anyway, so she's got a lot of you know, solid background, and it makes me want to check out like her other works too. But yeah, this one I think is just going to be a really good resource as well as a fun read. So I'm excited about that. So that's my top 5 tarot books of 2018. And yeah, this one was one of the harder ones to figure out. So I'm interested to see what other people have picked, and I hope you're having a good new year. Bye.